The Slate Belt Heritage Center. This is one of our monthly presentations. The first one that we are going live with. We have been virtual throughout the whole COVID mess. So from now on, we're going to do them live, and we're going to post them on YouTube and on our Facebook page, because a lot of people appreciate not having to come here. It's bad. They watch it at home. So Melissa's not here tonight, so let me read the schedule of events. August 21st and 22nd, that weekend is Passport to History weekend. All of the museums in the entire Lehigh Valley, including us, take part in Passport to History weekend. And they put on whatever kind of little demonstrations and shows that they want to. We are doing some old-fashioned weaving. Hope DeBoer is going to be here to demonstrate spinning. Perry's going to do some ornament making, and I'm going to be here showing this to people who have never seen this before. That's on Saturday, and then on Sunday, Mike Pearsa. By the way, that's from 12 to 4 o'clock. Mike Pearsa on Sunday is going to start the hoist out here, in case you never saw that. And Hope's going to do more spinning, and Perry's going to do more ornament making. Our next Thursday night is September 23rd, 7 o'clock. Todd Nebo just got back from Wales and Cornwall, and he is going to present his trip, which will be great. We return on October 14th with our haunted Heritage Center. The ghosts will return. So that will be live, and we'll sell tickets for that one. So get them early. In November, I'll put this up here if you want to see. In November, we have Dan Koreshi is going to do the Rosetto Big Time. It's got a lot of good old artifact pictures of the Big Time. And then in December, we have the Great Slate Belt Trivia Contest, which I run, which is fun. So get a team together. You can compete against last year's winners. Cheaters. Russ.
You want to mention about the educational programs that are going to be starting up?
Yes, sir. So, you know the date?
September 11th, Saturday morning, 9 to 11.
So, September 11th, the Heritage Center is going to start Saturday morning hands-on workshops for grades 3 through 6. And that'll be posted, and we're going to charge for that. The first one is slate etchings. So the kids who come here will learn how they used to do the slate etchings, and they'll be able to do one themselves and take it home. So those will be every month, and they'll be posted in and also put in the newspaper. Anything else? Good? All right. So tonight's presentation is the Quarry Heritage Park and Trail Network. And by my title here, no sludge, no dumping, and no garbage. So what we are trying to do is trying to set a standard in the Slate Belt for what can be done with the hundreds of abandoned quarries that are in this area. As you know, East Banger's got 100 trucks a day, if not more, coming through, dumping sludge from the New York City rivers into that quarry. We've had fly ash dumped in these quarries a long time ago, where CVS used to be. It's a mess, and it can't be good for our environment. So what we plan to do, and this is a huge undertaking, what we plan to do is to buy one of our local quarries and turn it into a quarry park, which would be clean, great reuse of the site, and even more importantly, honoring our slate industry and all of our family members who worked in those quarries and made the Slate Belt what it is. Okay? Now, I am going to stay very general, because the owner of the quarry that we are attempting to acquire does not want this publicized, and I won't mention the name. If you recognize anything in the pictures, don't yell out, "Oh, that's the blank blank quarry." Just let it go. So I am going to stay very general in my explanation. This PowerPoint is specifically made so the quarry is not mentioned. So we do have a PowerPoint presentation that we give, that we present to prospective donors, to banks, etc. And we can do that privately. But when we do stuff publicly here, we're trying not to mention. Okay? So let's talk about the history of this. We organized here in 1999. I wasn't even here yet. We have a founder right there, Shert Jones, and Janet Miller, and that's June. Russ, were you a founder? No. But you should. So we have a lot of wonderful things that went through people's minds, and from the beginning, this idea was present in everybody's mind. And, you know, although we're doing something really new, the idea isn't new. The idea was around for a long time. And I've got Janet, Kathy, and Carolyn there, and I'm going to let Janet Miller, come up here, Janet, for just 1 second. I'm going to let Janet Miller talk a little bit. And I say a little bit, which is kind of an oxymoron. Come here, Janet. So Janet tells me when we start this whole project, she says, "I want you to make sure that you get this quarry park underway before I die." Now, no pressure for me, right? That's what Janet said to me. 84 years old, and we're trying our best. We are trying our best. So, tell them the story about going down in that box, because that started the whole thing.
Okay. I, at that time, was involved with the town and was starting heritage festivals. And part of the heritage of the Slate Belt was quarries. So I wanted to show a quarry. So I went to Dowley's over in Penargin. I'm going to mention that quarry. That's not the one we're doing.
No.
But anyway, I went to that quarry over there down Railroad Avenue, number 6 hole. And that was a place where they were not, all their old buildings were old buildings there that were falling apart. But as their equipment that they used in the quarries became not usable anymore, they would put them in these buildings to save for us, because I had said we wanted to do something about quarries and we'd save everything for us. There was an empty building that was just cinder blocks there without a roof that had fallen in. And we had this idea, we were going to have number 6 hole. We were going to come in, we're going to put a roof on that building with a glass wall that overlooked the quarry. And we were going to have, I'm going to hurry up. Anyway, we were going to have, now Galleys had made a video of the quarry, everything, getting Slate out of the hole, how they did all of that. And then we were going to show that to people downstairs and have some equipment there that they could see. But then upstairs, we were going to have this, put a roof on and have this, make a restaurant up there with a glass wall that overlooked the quarry that you could see people working. And we were going to have the waiters dressed in bib overalls like the quarrymen wore to work. We were going to serve pasties in blickies. Now that's the lunch box that the people that worked in the quarries took their lunch. And so that was our big plan. So we were working toward that, and Waste Management owned that quarry actually at that point yet, or had some connections with it. And they were working with us. And Carolyn Gray and Kathy and myself, we started working with Fred Doney. Now he had owned a quarry himself, but he has retired, didn't have his quarry anymore. And he was working on developing, to help us develop this plan. And so when we would have Heritage Festival, they had told me there's no way you can get a tour of the quarry. It's just insurance-wise, it wouldn't work. So I didn't listen, of course, and I got a farmer's wagon that he pulled over there to the edge of the Slate Quarry. And this was had to be on just a Saturday morning, because they were still working down in the hole Saturday mornings. So, and then, what's his name? Dowley, not John. John was the one that we were working with, his brother. We'd come over that morning, and we would get the people off of the bus. They would drive right up to at the edge of the quarry where this truck was. And he'd stand on one side of the steps, and I'd stand on the other, so none of the people that were coming to see this would get injured or fall or run away or anything. So everybody got up on the truck, and then Craig told everything what was happening down in the hole. So when he was finished doing that speech, we ushered everybody out of there, and then the quarry had a big long cement building that they had all the different processes in there of making slate. So Craig would take all the people in there and take them all around and explain what they were doing in all of these stations. And then in the meanwhile, I'd get the bus driver and we'd go over to the back door of that building. So when the people were finished inside, they would go out, get in the bus, and be off. And we did that. That's how we got started. And then Fred Doney said, now, I developed this plan for you when you get your quarry to do all of this, because we wanted to do it like have it open all the time to do this, not just the festival day. And he said, but now what you need to do is come with me, and I'm gonna take you to a quarry. So he got his helmets. We had to wear our protective helmets, and the 3 of us had to go down in a bucket. Like they lowered the quarry workers down into the bottom of a slate quarry. And if that isn't a little scary, we were like holding on to the sides. We go down into this quarry, and then some of the quarrymen brought over this jackhammer and gave it to Kathy Hurd and said, she says, well, what? And he says, here, cut some slate. And she said, I can't do that. He says, yeah, Fred told me I should make you do this so that you know everything that he writes in this plan for you, that you know what he's talking about, you know what it means. So we did all these different things they told us. We knew how to put a stick of dynamite between slabs of slate when they blow it up first, when they get out some of the slate. So that's what we did, and we were still working on this plan. And then we had over in Penargil, where their little little league field is over there. There was a quarry over there, and 2 kids climbed under the fence and drowned in the quarry. And then now it's Waste Management again that owns most of this area. Their lawyer told them that we had to stop doing everything with getting this quarry thing going because, they could get sued. They got sued. One of the kids he was 12 years old, and his family, when the mother was pregnant, didn't want him and was putting him out to be adopted, and the grandmother took him and raised him, and she couldn't handle him anymore, and that's what happened. So, but when that happened, we had to stop everything. Okay?
So it's been there
a while.
for a long time. And then Mike Pierce. Now, if you don't know Mike Pierce, he is on our Heritage Park board. And Mike Pierce works at the Industrial Museum in Bethlehem. A slate quarry genius he is, knows everything about it. He's the man that always starts the hoist out here, and that hoist is actually his. And he put together an entire plan, all written up. We still have it. And it's not too dissimilar from where we're kind of going. And if I'm not mistaken, he even submitted it to the Bangor Borough at one time, right? Yeah. But just died out. So here we sit. And we got reignited because Ellen Nesis, who brought graduate students from the University of Pennsylvania. She brought graduate students up here for a year or two and gave them projects to revitalize the Slate Belt. So a lot of their designs centered on the quarries and how to use the quarries. And we became very friendly with her. We became friendly with the students, and they did some wonderful, wonderful designs. I pulled one out. You like Vanna White? So all of the graduate students, and you're talking maybe 50 or 100 of these. And they designed them. They had them posted down at the University of Pennsylvania. We went down and helped to judge them. We had a wine and cheese party up at Tolino's Vineyard where we posted all these. Then we gave them to their respective boroughs and townships, and they put them up so the people in their areas could see. So this was one of our favorites, and it was Quarry Camping, where this kid put together an entire plan to turn a quarry into a camping area. And you'll see, this was very inspirational to us because, as you'll see in some of the pictures, the amphitheater is going to look somewhat like that. And same thing with the floating walkway. So, thank you, Vanna. So, those graduate students came up, put together these beautiful designs like this. And then, again, we sat for another 2 or 3 years, excited about the prospect, nobody making a move to do anything. Because this is huge. This is a monumental undertaking. Russ Stout and Melissa Huff, decided that they were going to apply for a county block grant. And they put in for this county block grant way back in 1916, 17?
2016.
2016, yeah. That's what I said.
You're old.
They put in for like $30,000. We ended up getting that $15,000. Now this grant was to allow the University of Pennsylvania and their independent private company called Penn Praxis. This would allow Penn Praxis to take all of those, dwindle them down, and take the best of each, and then put it in a design. The grant also allowed them to find a local quarry in the Slate Belt that best fit what we wanted to do. Turn it into a quarry park. Some of the characteristics, qualifications, I'm not going to talk about because it may give away where it is, but the quarry that they zeroed in on, and they actually zeroed in on like 3 or 4, but the quarry they really zeroed in on had everything that we could possibly want. So they put together this design, and we have worked with, in conjunction with Penn Praxis for the last couple of years. We would have monthly meetings where we would comment on what they put together, and we would have back and forth, until we were satisfied. And boy, they put together just a beautiful, beautiful quarry park. Now, there's also, in our title, Quarry Heritage Park and Trail Network. So the trail network is also really important, because the trail network, and I'll give you an example, like the trail, Plainfield Township Trail that goes from Stockertown up through. All of those trails that come from the Lehigh Valley, the Appalachian Trail, the Liberty Trail that's going to be coming down into Portland, all that stuff can feed into the Slate Belt. And ultimately, this is going to be a tourist attraction like no other has ever seen in the Slate Belt. And clean. Not monster trucks coming in every day. Maybe a couple bearded campers and hikers and stuff coming through. That's great. So that combination of Penn Praxis and the Slate Belt Heritage Center worked really, really well together. So what they did is put together this design. And I'm going to zero in on different slides. But if this is a quarry park, over here would be the entrance. And this quarry park still has some derricks there. You can see the cable wires here that go across. A lot of that stuff is still present. It has a uniqueness in that it has a beach-like area down here that is at the water's level, which most quarries don't have. Most quarries look like that, where it just goes down. And this quarry, this avails us to a lot of cool things that we can do. It also, their design has a floating stage, which would be built in the water, where you could have people who would be on that stage playing music or whatever. The floating walkway is right along here. That's a floating walkway that would be built, which would absolutely be beautiful. You can see some of the trails that are already existent here. We won't even have to do very much. We'll clean it up, put some nice gravel down, and see this trail right here? That goes all the way around the top. And at each, maybe on each side, you have maybe 2 areas that will turn into overlooks. You can imagine the view up here. If you go to the top rim of the quarry and you look down, incredible views. And to sit there and have lunch with your family, what a beautiful day. And that water is beautiful. That water's not going anywhere. It's not being pumped out. And it's reached its level. It's been that level for many, 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 many years. And it's not going to get any higher. It's not going to get any lower. That's floating stage. That's what the floating walkway would look like. Because on the other side of the quarry, there's no beach-like place. It just goes straight down. So access to the to be able to go all the way around, we have to put in a walkway like that. Now that's the amphitheater. If you follow that walkway in that far southwestern corner, that's where we propose to make this amphitheater. And we will try our best to use slaters who are still able to work the slate. And we propose to carve that amphitheater right out of the ground. Beautiful. It'll look like what I held up over. Next to the amphitheater, right there, would be a large museum building where we would have tons of artifacts, pictures, explanations, stories, you name it. It would be our slate room magnified by 100. And you're already saying to yourself, how the hell is he going to pay for all this? Huh? There's beautiful viewing areas that we can build using natural stone, crushed slate, whatever. And that's all, we've got the design now. The next step then, once we secure the quarry, it's ours, would be to rehire this company to come in and really make the plans. Because we need signage, we need the paths, liability insurance, all those kind of things. Huge undertaking, which is good. We're going to do it. Another great aspect of this quarry is that the existing equipment that is still there, you can't find that. You can't find that in a lot of quarries. All of the existing equipment that is there, such as the powerhouses, all still has all the same controls. And according to Mike Pierce, these things can be cleaned up and used. You can see the cables, which are still there, that run all the way across. Tough to see in these kind of things, but right there is a wall that still has where the saws would cut it, and the bore holes are still there. So a lot of demonstrations that Mike and his slaters can do. And the natural landscape of the whole place is just beautiful. These are the four things that we'll stress when we take it over. One, of course, is the heritage, the industrial heritage of the place. You know, imagine families from outside of the Slate Belt coming here as a tourist attraction, coming to our quarry and learning all about this. You know, people who come here, some of them never heard of a slate quarry before. Some of them never saw a slate shingle before. So the honoring of the slate industry, just like we honor the textile industry in this display here, same thing. Those two things drove this area to its greatness. Can't forget that. Don't want to forget that. It's what we're here for. The natural beauty of things is incredible there. The recreation will develop it. You know, you could have beautiful yoga classes there, for example, at the quarry. You could have hikes at the quarry. Lots of things to do. And then, of course, we've got to do some revenue sharing also, revenue generating also. It's going to be expensive. So, to have weddings there would be pretty cool. Have wine tasting there. You know, anything you can do in a large scale property like this is going to be. We'll try to make some money. Educational demonstrations like slate splitting. And that's the trail network. You know, you can come into the Slate Belt from all different directions. The Appalachian Trail up on top of 191, people come in there all the time. Come down to Column-Sol, we'll keep coming. So you come down to Lake Mincy after you visit Column-Sol. You come to Lake Mincy and come on down to the quarry. Or if you come in from Wind Gap, which is a Appalachian Trail town, you can come in from Wind Gap, come the back way through Plainfield, through the trail, Knitters Hill, and Delbo Road, and you can come right into the Slate. Perfect. So a lot of this trail network, we're not going to do the trails. We'll do the trails in the quarry, but we're not going to do the trails outside. The county handles all that. County does that. But that's the connecting part. So, where are we now? So the Quarry Heritage Park and Trail Network, we have become incorporated. We are still waiting for our 501c3 status, which should come in a month or two. Until that comes, the Heritage Center, which of course is our mother organization, the Heritage Center is handling all of our financial stuff now. As soon as the 501c3 comes through, then we will be independent of the Heritage Center. But when I say that, we'll never be independent of the Heritage Center. This was the Heritage Center's idea. It's been with the Heritage Center for a long, long time, and the Heritage Center will always be involved. We legally separated from it just so we could concentrate on this project. That's what we need to do. We are getting tons of state assistance. Senator Scavello, Joey Emmerich, love this idea. They are assisting us at the state level with grants, etc. The county and Parks Commission Right now, they have 11 parks in Northampton County and are telling us that we've got to get it going first, I think, before maybe they jump on board with us. We'll see. We'd like more assistance from them, but they'll help us a lot with county grants. Chris Stroller, I see I spelled his name wrong. Chris Stroller from Wildlands Conservancy is, without him assisting us, we wouldn't be anywhere close to where we are today. His assistance has been invaluable. And he's still working with us and hopefully always will be working with us. We do have raised a pretty good amount of money so far. And we run a fine line between, because I don't want to interfere with the donations that the Heritage Center gets. So we walk a fine line. I don't want to bother individual people who donate to the Heritage Center and say, hey, donate to us instead. I wouldn't do that. So we are after much larger corporations. Not that we won't take some donations if people would like to give, of course we would. Now to answer your question that's been floating in your mind, this thing's going to take 10, 15, maybe 20 years. Sorry, Gina.
Hang on to it. You've got another 20 years.
If we can secure the quarry, maybe next year, and we can clear the trails, make them safe, allow people to come in, do tours, those kinds of things, and raise money and grants little by little. When the money comes in, we can start the floating walkway. When more money comes in, maybe we can start the amphitheater. That's way beyond my brain. So our designers, they'll handle those things. But it's going to take a long time and it's going to take a lot of money. But I'm pretty sure once we secure it, so you haven't seen a lot of publicity yet, but once we secure the quarry and it's ours, then we'll start plastering this all over the place in the Slate Belt, and I'm pretty sure we'll have a lot of people come out and say, hey, what a great idea. That's what we're hoping for. So, it used to be a pie in the sky idea. Now it's pretty real. Questions? Yes, sir.
Is there a quarry park in Wales or some other place that people have done this before?
Absolutely. They're all over the world.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yes.
what I was curious.
Yep, there is nothing new. Just type it in, Google it. You'll see. And in Wales, that is one of the largest quarry parks anywhere in the world. It's huge. Yeah, it's huge. Indelible. Sure, when you guys were, did you see that thing when you were there? Yeah.
Where is it?
There's one in Japan. There's one there's a couple in Europe. There's one in upstate New York. I don't have the names in my brain, but
Yes, which one is, where is it in Wales? Where is it in Wales?
I think, is it indelible?
I think it's Delaware.
Yeah, it's
Indelible,
indelible, I
Wales.
think.
Is that about Central?
What?
Is that about Central Wales?
Central Wales?
No, it's north,
No.
it's north, towards Bangor.
Okay, that makes
Oh,
sense. More slow.
Yeah, you can find it online. Yeah. So this isn't a new idea. A lot of places have it, and very, but they've been going for years. So it's well established. Closest thing we have around here is down there outside of Bath, that just closed.
Basement?
Where they used to do the scuba diving. Yeah, Dutch Springs. Yeah, it's kind of the closest thing that we have, but what we're proposing is way above, I think. Any other questions?
Are there any shanties left?
There's the only shanties that are left are the houses that have the controls for the derricks. That's it.
There's one shanty at the bottom of the quarry there.
Yeah, but
Yeah, needs updating.
Used to be full of them.
not in real good,
East Bank of Road.
not in real good shape.
They never were.
And if you really want my brain to take you forward, could you imagine a quarry in every borough and township, like 50 years from now, connected with trails where people could come and go to one quarry and then go to another quarry and go to another quarry? Wouldn't that be something, Janet? Let's do this one first.
You talked about waste management. Waste management, well, Gary Perrin just bought all the Mac land, the farm.
Yeah.
They had 3 farms. He bought it all.
We can't control them.
No, no,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So here's, if you're interested, if you want to volunteer, you want to help, send me your name. You could write me a note here, or you could, our email is sbhc@frontier.net. And that's where you can send some moolah. You know? You're a millionaire like Sandy Blau. You want to do your estate planning and leave us a lot of moolah? That'd be great. And we'll name like a shanty after you. Be great fun. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.